Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to Blue Falcon TCG. And we got Piet, post rotation, droids, ships, villainy, just anything you want. Gunk Droid Turbo essentially is what I like to call this because back then, before rotation, we'd mulligan to try to find some sort of ramp. Um, we Ramping is not as good as it used to be, so Eternal format Piet is definitely 10 times better than post rotation Piet. However, starting off with the gunk real great into this yellow Towson, this could be a really difficult matchup. Yellow Forest does have a lot of spot removal still, and same thing with the blue villainy shells. But we got ships, and we're gonna poke with droids. And our gunk lived, which is crazy. But we get to play our capital ship on turn 2 for a 5/5. So good. So good. Deciding to resource a capital ship instead, because we're gonna be able to get another one off the rip and get that invisible hand. Just we're really starting to pull ahead here. A big spot removal piece could be like a shatter point or something along those lines. But we're just gonna swing and put them at 8. At this point, early on, if Piet gets this far ahead, you're just like, you know what, we got to figure something out. And we're gonna go ahead, play invisible hand into the HK. Feels so good. We did lose our ramp, Gunk is gone. We probably should have kept the other capital ship to continually pressure. But we ended up topping one, and we keep the probe droid in hand in case of any sort of upgrade like construct lightsaber, because that could really sneak the game back in their favor, which is just great. So we're just gonna play down Invisible Hand, grab the evil R2D2 as I like to call it. Not the best card in this because I don't really ever see a lot of that extra damage coming through. The C3PO whatever it is, that is a lot better of a card because we can recycle those Devastators and those other um, big red ships or any of our spot removal and just kind of get through the game. Turbo, laser, great spot removal. We're in such a good spot. We're in a swing 6. We're just gonna put them on it. Put them on having it. Now, them, no glory and just really, really hurting us has been quite annoying. Well, I don't know why I was trying to not attack first. I got to put them on. Like, really having it instead of using spot removal. They're going to swing 1,000, and I don't really see anything they're going to play this turn that's going to make it winnable. Especially with, I can just, just go ahead and swing, put them on 27. They have to trade in, which is obnoxious for them. But solid for me, being forced to actually have to trade in instead of trade up. We're going to play this big booty ship, 3 damage float across the board. Keeping them on the back foot is probably the most important thing. And there we go. Devastator. It is insane. It's so good. Bring Devi. Bring all Devastators back. And we just go ahead and just slap all 4 damage on the Devastator. Moving into the next game. Happen to be another Towson. This time, I think the better version is Red Towson. Well, we bamboozle ourselves and try to mulligan for some sort of ramp, right? We got the triple O droid. The 3 cost 4/4 is really strong. Does put up a good amount of damage really fast, especially if left alone. But we just got a claim here. We don't got a great hand. This is going to be missing a turn 1 drop just feels really, really bad. We're gonna end up resourcing this other capital ship we got, playing this 4/4. They can trade into it and then use the force and take it out. That's fine. I'd rather have them do that than just chip away. It essentially it creates the same thing as if we were at a stalemate. But Towson Red's strong. But we got our gunk. We got the gunk. But we're gonna have to resource it. Yeah, just At this point, it's a little too late. You know, we want to see the gunk on turn one, or in a situation where we had the board already established. Trading up over just because it gets out of hand. The fifth brother just can be really strong, really fast, and hidden raid and a 3/4. Just honestly, is a great unit. Got to get rid of it. Condemn, absolutely bonkers of a card. Sure, I don't get it. It doesn't take my board away, and it puts them on having a singular blue villainy card, but it is so annoying. And this is exactly why we keep probe droids in our hand, because of condemn. Condemn is just a bonkers card. When is heroism going to get a fraction of the love when it comes to board control and spot removal? I mean, yeah, we got Bo-Katan at 9, but come on. I guess now we got underwhelming barrage. You know, the blue green 5 cost. It lets you defeat something that isn't a leader with power equal to or less. But swinging 6 got us tied up now. This is our both of our flip turns. So, and they're gonna play down the Dookie, get that free ambush. Yeah, I mean, hey, deploy the Piet. Just checking all the resources. We don't really have anything to play. We're just gonna get an extra 2 damage. Well, just 1. We're just gonna get that extra 1. Call it good. Defeat a shield token. Maybe should have held the probe droid for the condemn in the future because they're probably playing 3. 1000 is a mid-range control deck, and honestly, it transitions in the late game so well, especially with the new super laser being a blue-red card. I really do think blue-red is the new control, not this green-blue shenanigans. But we're going to drop the Devi and 1 on Dookie and the rest on base. This makes it pretty delicious for them to either condemn or get rid of the Devastator, allowing us to slap another 6 damage. And they did. They no glory to that. Our Devi, which is, I mean, obviously that's the right play, right? If they didn't have that answer, we had game on the following turn with Planetary Bombardment, and it's just not a fair combo. This Devastator plus Bombardment does 16 damage 2 turns essentially, and it really does swing a lot of games. We haven't got to play this L37 very much. L337. And it's in here. It's just in here as another way to create a wider board state to really flood the board with droids. Let's just do the same thing as Invisible Hand, but does top 10 and pips them. So free pips on 6 resource turn feels good, especially if we don't have a capital ship to play. It just feels fine. Dangerous place here for them. We're gonna just swing in, put 5, putting them at 23. I think at right here, if they don't play a unit, Planetary Bombardment becomes a really good. It could have gave us a win here because they had to float 12 damage, and so I made the mistake of just playing Invisible Hand when realistically there's 4 left on base, 4 left on Karis, and 4 left. So they can only float 4 damage across the board. All right. So we're looking at our new droids. We got the BT-1 playing 3 of those for our 2 drops, 3 Dark Probes, 3 Gunk, and 3 HK, 2 Imperial Troopers. Kind of a wider turn 1 base, just to make sure we have something to go on for. Turn 2, if we don't have Gunk, we have Triple O Droid, and then Let's Call It War, and We're in Trouble. These can easily go up to 2 each instead of playing the Triple O Droid. The droid just lets us recycle red cards and discard to get them back. The unfortunate only ramp card left is now a 4 cost 3/3, so a little too late, but it really does help out for a later game to punish our opponent with some big, thick chips. Replacing, it's not really a replacement, but throwing in Blockade Runner, it feels good getting it off early. It can become a problem later on. After damage is complete, it gets an experience token. eventually can become kind of a bomb. It's just annoying to deal with as your opponent. The longer they wait, the worse it gets for them. And then Assault Frigate, no explanation needed. Craving Power, no explanation. Could go to 3 if you really want the extra bit of control. L337, kind of a win more card, but is very thematic to like the droid mechanic and all this stuff. 2 resupply carriers, didn't want to play 3. I thought that was a little bit too much. Because all it is just coming down on 5 for 1 extra. However, with some of these bigger capital ships being 9s and 10s, 11s on some of the green ones, 3 might be a little bit better than playing the L337 just for a little bit more consistency with the deck. No explanation on the Invisible Hand with our Droid Engine package. Planetary Bombardment and Turbo Laser Salvo. Gosh, it's like I had a stroke. No explanation there. Same thing with Devastator at 3. Now the bigger ships that we're looking at is the Full Matrix. When played on attack, 4 damage to a unit. This is a great way to spot remove some of these tower decks or get rid of some problems on the board. Feels really great. Persecutor feels amazing into the Han 2 meta. Now that we're moving into the Premier format, and so if you're looking at playing Admiral Piet in Eternal, Persecutor is a board wipe, especially if with those the early ramps. You can play this on 7. You can play it earlier than Han can play big boys and girls. But that's the list. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and check out the rest of the channel.